Welcome to Spilling the Tequila, the podcast that brings you the tequila spilling energy without the hangover. My name is Grace.
And my name is Sunny Joyo, and welcome to Spilling the Tequila, the Bravo recap special and reality TV special. Thank you for all the listeners that started following us after BravoCon. And tuning in for this episode. Every week we do a normal episode, but also a Bravo recap and other reality TV stars. This is a juicy episode. We have so much to cover. But let's start it off with some tea to get going. And I want to throw some tea at you, Grace.
Okay.
So let's start off with at Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Oh, okay, yes.
Did you hear about the tea about the threesome?
I did.
Yes. Well, okay. Well, I'll just talk about it as if you don't know. And well, I'll just say what I need to say and then you can add in. So for the listeners out there who don't know, there was a guy from a reality show called Fuckboy Island, which just sounds terrible. I haven't seen it, but I'm just
horrendous.
Yeah, anyone that goes on a show like that. Anyway, each their own. He came out on a podcast and has come out and said that he had a threesome with two of the housewives from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Didn't name who they were, but allegedly he said that he was at her house and he had a threesome with two of the housewives in the bed. The husband wasn't there, obviously. And then he said the weird thing is after he had the threesome, he was then, an hour later was on the trampoline with her kids at the house, jumping on the trampoline with them. Like, so fucking weird.
So weird.
Then the husband comes home and he starts panicking and the wife's like, just say you work in real estate. Just say you work in real estate and you're looking at the house. So then he says that he works in real estate. The husband was probably caught on. Anyone that's in a room where someone's been having sex, everyone knows what that smells like. If he's going to his own room, it's true though. It's true.
I know,
Threesome, two girls and one guy. That's like skin to skin to skin. There's a lot of smells going on. Like he would know. What? It's true.
Yes. No, just skin to skin to skin. So true. So much bacteria.
True. Like that's, and I'm just being straight up. The husband obviously knew and then contacted the guy from Fuckboy Island and said, I want to have a meeting with you. Weirdly enough, the guy from Fuckboy Island goes, cool, I would have a meeting with you. I just fucked your wife in your bed and also her friend while you weren't home and the kids were home. Like, just so weird on so many levels.
So weird.
And had a meeting with him. And then he said the husband had like security guards like he was the president of America or something all around him and said, stay away from my family. And that was it. Now, there's two things about this. That's just very specific to make up a lie like that. And even though he probably sounds desperate because he's from a reality show like Fuckboy Island, and he's all in the headlines right now. Like, do you think he's doing it for that reason? Because, do you think people are that desperate to, make up a story that's not even true at all? Maybe people do that and I'm really naive, Grace. Or do you think it's so specific that it's actually true? I think it's true. Not because I want it to be true. It's just very specific.
I tend to agree with you. I actually have some tea for you that I'm going to drop on this. That as this story has come out, within the last few hours, Diana Jenkins has deleted her Instagram account. Now, this could be just a total coincidence that she's deleted it at the same time as this story coming out, or it could not be.
Wait, whoa. So you think one of the housewives of Beverly, she was one of the people in the threesome? Okay, that was my next thing. If you think Diana Jenkins was the person, because everyone's trying to guess, who do you think the other woman was?
Well, some people were saying Brandy. I think Brandy's like a very easy sort of person to throw out there.
And Brandy would have talked about it anyway.
Yeah, probably.
Brandy would have talked about it by now.
I honestly don't know. I'm trying to think of who Diana was even friends with. Potentially Erica Jane?
Yeah, maybe. Because they always say it's always the quiet ones, right? You're so right. Like, okay, so I think now you're changing my mind. I think it's Brandy and Carlton.
Well, I read that rumor and I thought, yeah, that's super believable.
Carlton had the sex room, but it's too obvious, hey.
Well, then when Diana's deleted her Instagram account at this same time, it's sort of like, wow, why is she doing that? Which it could be something in her own life that's triggered it, of course. But I could actually see Diana and Erica doing something like that.
Right. That's a good one. See, for Carlton and Brandy, I could see that as well. And don't forget, after that one season that Carlton was on, her husband left her.
Oh, did he?
Remember, the husband left her. He divorced her after that.
Right.
So I would just think, you cheated on me. He found out.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. See you later. I don't know. Everyone's trying to guess now. And you're so right. Sometimes it's the quiet ones that you think it's not that. And then ones like Brandy and stuff, too obvious. Like, it's like she's got nothing to hide. That's one thing about Brandy is like, she's got a big mouth, all these things, but she's not a liar. Like when she says something happens, it kind of like happened. Well, depends what the situation is. Yeah. But you think it was Diana and who?
Erica.
And Erica Jane. Wait, so but Diana's husband, the young one that she married, you think he went in and said, stay away from my family? Oh, because you know how she's get married to the,
Look, I don't know, but the whole deletion of the Instagram account at this time is very interesting.
Right. To the listeners out there, for Bravo listeners, please in comments on any of our socials, let us know, who do you think the threesome was with? It's a good guess because it literally could be anyone.
It could be like anybody. It could be Kyle and Morgan Wade.
Crystal's like she's a quiet one. They always say it's the quiet one. She did say she has really fucking good nipples the other night.
I don't think it's Crystal.
You don't think it's Crystal?
God love her, no.
I don't think it's Crystal either. But you'd be surprised. People in the bedroom, Grace, whole nother story.
I know, but I don't think Crystal would cheat on Rob.
Yeah, I know, and I love Rob. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was the tea.
That was a big thing of tea. I also just want to, while we're on Beverly Hills, very quickly, just shout out Sutton. Everyone knows I love Sutton. And say that she's probably going to say the most iconic quote of the season. Name him. Name him.
Oh, that annoyed me though. I like Sutton, but that annoyed me.
That was so good.
But then Kyle named them, and there was like 5 different scenarios, so Kyle was right. Just saying. I know you're not a Kyle fan, but I'm just saying you can still admit when someone's right. Speaking of Beverly Hills, and we might as well stay on that category. Are you up to date with Beverly Hills?
No.
Did you see the second last episode? Yes.
When they're in Vegas?
Yes.
Yes.
Was that not one of the best episodes of Beverly Hills? Like, not the best, but one of the best. It was so funny.
This season's so much better.
So good. I am convinced.
Yes.
Allegedly convinced. Don't know if it happened, that when the girls were in Las Vegas, anyone that's seen the episode, I definitely think they were on MDMA, some sort of, allegedly. I'm not saying they are. Allegedly, I just think that they were very wired and very on like MDMA or on drugs or something. Not that that's a bad thing. That's a good thing. I'm just saying. But it was like when they were in Magic Mike and watching, all the strippers and stuff, like every single housewife had chewing gum in their mouth and they were chewing like no tomorrow, like this, like. And then they were like so wired when Sutton left and Garcelle and Kyle followed, and they're like running through Las Vegas like wired, like, where are you going? And then they're in a restaurant like this, like talking, like, we're at Magic Mike. And then like the other girls stayed there, and then they got out of Magic Mike, and then they all got into the white van, and everyone was wired. And like, I've said it from day one, Dorit always been one of my favorite because she's like, she goes in the middle. She's not the highest or the lowest or anything. Like, she's just in the middle. She cruises. But this season, like, she's so funny. Dorit is so funny. And she was so drunk and wired that night as well. And I don't know what she said, but if anyone can remember, when they got into the Sprinter van, the white van leaving Vegas, the Magic Mike show, the door opened and Dorit said something, and it was so funny. I need to go back and see what it said. It was so funny that Garcelle pissed herself laughing and couldn't stop laughing. And when something in reality TV is real and when it's kind of like someone's rehearsed a line, like this is just very real. They're very drunk. They're very wired. And Garcelle just kept pissing herself laughing, going, Dorit, that is so funny. And then like even when Dorit and Kyle shared the bed, and then Kyle ran in and jumped in the bed, and when Dorit turned around and like punched her in the leg, it's like, get off me. Like, so funny. She gave her a dead leg.
Yeah, Dorit's on fire this season.
On
fire. Respect to her. I hope she keeps it up.
You know what? I think it's kind of like when you watch like a singer or someone in a movie or something and you get used to someone or a character, even watching show. I think like when Dorit started, people thought she was just annoying by the way she talked and she never shuts up and all these things. And I liked that because I was just like, she's such a character. But then when people are realizing now that's actually who she is and she's not putting that on, like, let me tell you, if that's not her accent, you cannot be that for that many seasons.
But she's a lot more entertaining now. She's saying a lot more stuff that's way more funny. Like when she was talking about Erica Jane saying, I'm a showman. And she was like, you're not a showman. You're just a bitch. I'm like, Dorit would have never said that. The past few years. Now I'm like, right, now you've really let loose. And I also have a theory that Dorit is going to join what I call the dream team, which is Sutton, Garcelle, and Crystal, and she will jump ship soon.
So you reckon it's kind of like Lisa Ren has left now, so it was kind of like Erica, Kyle, and Dorit, and then so the original dream team's being broken up now with like Sutton, Garcelle. So Dorit's like, you know what? I need to defend myself on my own. I'm going to be crossing over to this pub just a little bit.
Just
so
a little bit
as well.
Not enough to like end a friendship with Kyle or anything like that. But I just think naturally Beverly Hills has had two groups for the last sort of 6 or 7 years. It's always been those 4 girls and whoever else is on the show as sort of the sideliners. And I think it's changing drastically and quickly, and I think Dorit knows that.
Yeah, Dorit's hilarious. Do you think PK cheated on her, or do you think that really is? I hope not. Yeah,
I hope not.
Yeah,
I hope not. So who knows?
Their kids are so cute. Mommy, we don't want you to stress out, Mommy. Please. Like, when he did the Pretty Woman.
Pretty Woman?
Pretty Woman thing, that would be your dream for a guy to do that to you. When I was watching it, I was like, Grace would love this. Grace would love this. And see how she was freaking out because she didn't control it. And you could just tell her, like, Mommy, you need to relax. We organize this for you, Mommy. Like,
yes. Legit.
Well, at least she owns who she knows she's like that. Like, she's like, I know I'm like this. I just need to control it.
As long as you own it.
And then she's like, you didn't even get me the right red dress. It's like 5 on the rack. It's like, calm down. He really thought this through. He even had the band playing.
Yeah, exactly.
The hotel room.
I
know.
Like,
no, that's actually her.
I just want to say, also in defense of PK, or respect to PK, I should say, is that how nice it was that he set it up in a suite in the hotel rather in a restaurant or something. Because if that was me and my husband for our anniversary was like, put on this red dress and dress up as Pretty Woman, and now we're going out in public like that in the same hotel the movie was filmed in, that's so cringe. That is so cringy. So thank God.
So iconic. And I think me knowing you, I think you would find that hilarious.
I wouldn't want other people to see me dressed up as Pretty Woman in the Pretty Woman Hotel. No way. No way. Thank God it was in private.
That's so funny. Man. I thought it's funny. I don't know. I like taking the piss of things. I think it'd be hilarious.
I loved it because they were in private.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway.
All right. So moving on. From Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's go to Southern Charm. A little bit of tea from Southern Charm. So, as you know, you and I are big fans of Shep, and Craig and Austin and Paige. But Shep, we're a big fan of Shep. And when he was at BravoCon, as you know, you were at BravoCon, and you did mention to me, hey, I've met some people, and I don't want to believe it because that's each to their own. Is that I heard stories about Shep and he was really drunk there and all these things. And you told me that when you were in BravoCon last week, right?
Yes.
So it was there. I just read some things on the news before we started recording today that people were at BravoCon. They're from another reality show, so they're not fans. They're in a Bravo show. They were playing blackjack.
Yeah.
And when they're playing blackjack, Shep was at the same table, and they're like, oh, fuck, there's Shep from Southern Charm. And they said he was really, Shep drunk, and he was really there, and he's to the waiters getting more fireball shots. Fireball shots gross, as you know, you and I are tequila. So he's doing those. They said he's really drunk. That's fine. He's in Las Vegas. He could be fun. And then, I don't know if you've ever played blackjack, but when you have your chips, you actually have to get your chips and pile them on top of each other in the categories that they're at, the categories that they're in. And the person working there, you know, at the casino was like, "Excuse me, sir, could you please pile up your chips before we can do the next round?" And Shep turned to him and said, "Why don't you fucking stack my chips for me?" And said that to the person working at the casino, and he got escorted out by security and chucked out of the restaurant, chucked out of the casino, which he should be, because I think anyone that's worked in hospitality, I worked in hospitality, no matter what you're in, you're there to provide a service. And, you know, when someone says talking to you like that, like, why don't you fucking pack my chips for me? It's just like, you may have more money than me, but I am not under you. Do you know what I mean? If you can't respect people, then you deserve not to play this game. You're a 45-year-old man. You can be drunk. That's fine. You and I get drunk. We can be rowdy, but you don't need to be disrespectful to people. There's a difference. You can be loud, like, "I love this game," but not speaking to someone like, "You pack it for me," as if they're your servant and you're a king.
No, I think
and you're a trust fund baby and you don't have a job.
Can turn, yeah.
Yes.
I think Shep turns when he's drinking.
Correct. Especially. And that's what I mean. Each their own. Maybe he should. I don't think Shep's a bad person. Like, we're fans of him, but if he's speaking like this when he's drinking, then maybe you shouldn't drink.
Yeah.
Because I know when I drink, I'm a lovey-dovey person. But if you told me I did that to someone, Grace, I'd be very concerned.
Yeah.
I would be like, cannot believe. I'd probably not drink for a while because I'd be very scared to do it again. And then when I did start drinking, you'd probably laugh and like, "Sonny, you've had one moment. It's fine. Drink." I would drink with you, but I'd be very cautious. I would be very cautious.
No, I agree. I actually have a theory that if I met Shep, I would, and like say we were out at a bar or something, I would actually pretend not to know him.
Yeah.
And I would like to see his reaction to me not knowing that I watch him, because I have a theory that Shep likes what he gets from being on Southern Charm, the fame and the notoriety and whatever. He obviously doesn't need the money from Southern Charm, so there's got to be that sort of payoff in another way. But I also think that he thinks whoever watches him and runs up to him and is like, "Shep, I love you on Southern Charm." I think that deep down he thinks that whoever watches it is a bit of a loser. That's the vibe I get. I think he looks down on people who watch the show and are fans of the show. Honestly,
it's such a weird. It's a show. We're watching to release and just.
I
know.
Yeah, I know, but I think he thinks that it's like, "Oh, I'm on a Bravo reality show. Like, you're a loser for being."
Well, he needs to get over that because he's been on it for like 9 years.
I know, so that's what I'm saying. I think there's like two Sheps in there that are like battling each other.
Right. Got you. My last tea from Why We're on Southern Charm is, did you hear about Catherine Dennis, how she's going to come back to next season, which I said I would like. Yes. They discussed that at BravoCon with the boys as well. But did you see how she just got Catherine Dennis identified as a suspect in the elementary school hit and run?
Yes.
Oh, did you see that as well? I just want to read this to you from what the person that made this is from radar.com, by the way.
Yes.
Where is it? The witness wrote, "Troubled Southern star Catherine C. Dennis has been labeled a suspect who was arrested in the hit-and-run incident in front of an elementary school. Radar Online can explain. A white female," this is a bit I found funny, "a white female with dirty blonde hair." Sorry, I'm not mean that in a mean way. I just mean, like, does that mean the person described it like didn't realize she had hair extensions, and that's just what it means? Dirty blonde hair was behind the wheel of the 2022 Ford Bronco, thought recklessly barreled down the elementary school in Monarchs Corner, South Carolina, striking a 40-year-old deputy sheriff moonlighting as a school crossing guard. As I began to ask the traffic leaving the school to take the right and traffic coming from the Highway 52 to take a left, I noticed the vehicle was traveling from South Oak Drive and was not slowing down. The injured Berkeley County deputy wrote on the police, and yeah, his hand got broken because he had the lollipop sign, the stop sign. She drove past and hit the hand, broke his hand, and smashed the lollipop sign in half and kept on going. So, yeah, just, are you laughing because it's just so crazy? Like, it's like, what are these people doing? It's like, you know, no wonder why she can't get her kids back. But that's a whole nother story.
I'm just like, oh God, imagine your dad being Thomas Ravenel and your mum being Catherine Dennis. And I think Catherine's a good person, but I'm just like, Catherine, you need to get your shit together, girl.
Yeah.
You need to do it for your kids because you don't want your kids growing up like Thomas Ravenel.
Yeah.
You know?
Did you also see, I don't like Thomas Ravenel, by the way. I think he's like 90% of all of it of fucking her up mentally.
I agree.
Yeah, like she was 21.
He
knew what he was doing. Why are you
Yeah.
fucking 19-year-olds that you're on a reality show together when you're in your 50s anyway? And then pumping, and then they have a baby and not really supporting them. And then having that thing where when you're in control because you're the one who's got the money. So they're just sucking up to you where it's not a two-way relationship type of thing. Like you've mentally fucked her up. And then you had another baby. Then you had a second chance to do it right. And it was always her just begging, trying to make you happy and begging, doing it for the kids, wanting a family. Like I actually feel sorry for her, and I think that's why she is where she's at the moment. I mean, she shouldn't be running people down in a car, and not that she's doing it on purpose. I think she's just, I don't know what she's on, but she just needs help, and someone needs to help her.
I agree.
Speaking of Thomas, he made a statement as well, blastering Austin, Shep, and Craig, saying Shep's the most insecure person he's ever met. Craig's a liar, but everyone knows the show that Craig lied about the thing. He still passed the bar afterwards. That's not even a but I'm trying to protect Craig, but it wasn't even that bad. And what did he say about Austin?
Oh, something like Austin's like a 40-year-old man-child or something like that.
He's a man-child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Shep.
I don't know how I feel about Austin.
I can't remember if I said in our BravoCon recap or not that someone asked a question to Shep, which was like, do you feel like you're getting too old to just be like partying and running around? Yeah. And then he was like, no, like look at Thomas Ravenel. And then the girl was like, is that your like future? Is that who you want to be? Yeah. How embarrassing, which is so true. Anyway,
so yeah, that was the tea that I got
so much tea.
So much tea. What other housewives are you
Salt Lake City, the tea of Monica.
Oh yes, we need to cover Salt Lake City. So Salt Lake City, anyone that watches actually Salt Lake City's been good. Even though Monica's the new character, I don't know how I feel about her. I keep going. I didn't like her when she first started because I said to Grace she sounds really rehearsed, and then I said I do like her now because I got to know more of her story and her and her mum, and that's why they're the way that she is. But now I'm off her again because her and the mum story is like, it's so fucked up that I feel really uncomfortable watching it. But I also feel like, even if that is what it is, I also feel like it's rehearsed as well. Did you see the episode where the mum rocked up to the house in the car and she made her mum walk home?
Yes. So I have some tea on that.
If her mum surprisingly rocked up to the house, how did the mum have a microphone on? I didn't like that.
I agree. I have some tea on that.
Okay, yeah.
We will get to Monica and the beauty lab debacle in a moment. But in terms of this mother-daughter situation, number one, I think in these situations, usually there's somewhere in the middle of her story, of Monica's story and the mum's story that the truth will be. You know?
Yes.
So I'm not saying Monica's completely lying from her point of view, and I'm not saying the mum's completely lying from her point of view. I think both of them can have an idea. But basically, the mum went on Twitter and said, Monica decided to take me for dinner on television to attack me and the choices I've made as a mum. And she basically just tweeted and said, I just want to explain that, I was naive. I didn't know how much New York costed when I got this job that she was referring to in the show. And the family that Monica went to live with, we had been neighbors with them for like 5, 6, 7 years, something like that. And we had spent Thanksgiving and Christmases with them as well. Monica used to go to their house after school and play. They were very close to us. And she said, for Monica to say on TV that wasn't the case is absurd.
Yeah. She's leaving some details out that just made it sound a lot worse than it is if it was just randoms and just dropped him up in the car with her pillow and then drove off to New York.
Yes. She also said, I went and visited Monica every weekend. So I would go to work Monday to Friday. I would come home and then I would go see Monica on the weekends. Now, whether this is true or not, I don't know. But I just think, look, it's a little bit in a way like the Prince Harry, Meghan Markle Oprah interview, in that I personally don't agree with like dropping your family in the shit on television, especially if you have children involved and that's their grandma. And this is something that I feel really uncomfortable watching because I really shouldn't know about this. Like, it's really none of my business. And also, this isn't entertainment. You know, we watch Real Housewives and they have fights about stupid stuff. It was a lot like when the bots attacked Garcelle's son and everyone thought it was Diana or Lisa Rinna was behind it or whoever. It's too dark for TV. That is reality. And I really just think that to make that conscious decision that I'm going to do this to my mother on TV, knowing my children are going to watch this back one day and see this about their grandma and not try and protect them. So, you know, I can have my own fractured relationship with my mum, but I at least want my kids to have a grandma. And like, let's hope that relationship's healthy. You know, I just don't, I think, I just think it's too far, too dramatic, and I think she really wants the storyline out of it.
Look, I think they also, from the other side, I think they do it because they're like, well, I'm signed to a reality show and I'm meant to talk about my life. This is what I'm going through, so this is what I'm sharing. I'm just saying you wouldn't do that to your own family, but I'm saying these people are signing up. These people who sign up to reality with things like that, they're just like, this is my job. This is what I'm going through with my mum. You tell me that I don't talk about my family or what I'm going through. I'm showing my life. This is what I'm going through. So I'm just saying that's is her job to do that.
No, I get that. I just think it's when your children are involved in it, it becomes like a different thing, you know? Yeah. And I personally wouldn't want to put my kids in the middle of a fight between my mum and I, and definitely not something that's going to live on forever and they'll watch back.
Look, I think they're just both as worse as each other. Like, Monica seems a little bit fucked up, but so was her mum in the other way. Like, I just agree. Like, she was weird too. Like,
it's not like healthy to be on TV in this way. Like,
no, I know what you mean. It's not. You can have relationships where it's like you broke up or cheated or things like that. But this one's like, this is. I know what you mean by like that. That's what I'm saying. I felt a little bit uncomfortable watching it because you knew that it was like, it was a real fight. Like, you could tell. Yes. Like. And it was just so weird where she's like, the mum's like, where's my Panadol? Just stops and then eats it and then they're silent and they eat and then they fight again. Like, they must fight so much that they've normalized how weird their situation actually is. And now we're watching it. And that's when you're watching it. Like, you couldn't even like rehearse this as a play to put this on reality TV. Like, they rehearsed it the night before. It was that weird.
Yeah, it's a bit.
You know what I mean? It was that the fight was that weird. Like, I think the daughter's just done. She's just like, I'm just so done with you. That's what I mean. You just don't know how deep it goes. And maybe she's just retaliating. And at the end of the day, maybe she's just hurt. I think Monica's hurt. I'm not making excuses, but sometimes people are hurt. No, but I
think her mum's hurt too.
Yeah.
I think they're both in a very toxic cycle, and it probably needs a therapist in the middle of it to.
I've already tried, remember?
Yeah, we'll try again or try harder.
So that's a good segue for your tea for Salt Lake City.
Yes. So if you all cast your minds back to the first episode of this season, when it was a flash forward and they were on holidays and Heather was on the phone and they tried to get into Heather's room and Heather was like, no, guys, I'm being serious. Put the cameras down. And she was like, what? I can't believe it. I'm shaking. So basically, apparently, that call was Heather being tipped off. Beauty Lab was being sued. right? And it was being sued for botched injections and that type of thing. And Heather found out that the person suing Beauty Lab, because she used a different name, was actually Monica. And Monica's suing Beauty Lab. And then she also found out that Monica, who had used a different name, is also the person that Beauty Lab is suing for a plethora of unpaid bills. So Heather had no idea that this new girl in the group is the one that's suing her, and she's also suing Monica. So that's like quite intense.
They haven't really showed that on the show, have they?
No, it's all about to come out.
Oh, but that probably wasn't on the show. This is weird. So now we're going to be looking in,
watching
the episodes.
Heather's talking about on the phone, apparently, people think, in the future episodes when they're on holidays. But
that's awkward. Like, you're suing someone in the cast of your show and then you're on the show knowing that, but you're also used to be assistant to Jen Shah. This is someone that you should not trust.
Correct.
She does not seem trustworthy at all. Here you are bitching about Jen Shah, but now you're doing this. So it seems like she's just trying to get everything on her own that suits her when she needs it. I don't think I like this, Monica.
No, none of the cast spoke to her at BravoCon. They all sat on opposite sides of the room. I will always say, if someone brought together Heather and Lisa Barlow becoming friends, like, this person must be bad to bring those two together and make them friends, right? And there was the other rumor, allegedly, that people believe on the cast that Monica stole Lisa Barlow's $60,000 ring.
Shut up.
Allegedly.
Of course, allegedly. You said it, don't worry.
I'm just saying that again.
No, but what? Wait. Where was that, like, online and stuff? Because that's a big call. Just the one that has the least money is the one that could have probably stolen her ring. You know, I don't like that. Like, is that where it stems from? Because she's just not the rich one.
No, I just think
it must
it's
be
because
her that stole the ring.
No. I think that the rumor started after we found out about Monica not paying the bills at Beauty Lab and suing Heather for the botched injections. And talking about tipping Jen Shah off to the FBI and this big fight with her mum, and combined with the fact that none of the cast are remotely even interested in talking to her right now, there was the theory, like a conspiracy theory, that because Monica was in the stall right near Lisa as it happened, that if Monica did happen to find the ring, because she has been so shady in all of these other things, and apparently she went out and she bought something really expensive, and people were like, wow, was it from the $60,000 ring?
Yeah, but if she found the ring, they would know by her selling it, because when you sell it to one of those places that gives you money, you've got to put down your details.
But unless you do it shadily.
I just think she's got kids. I just think
I don't actually think she stole the ring. I'm just saying,
I think that's a big
conspiracy theory out there.
I just think, like, someone who puts Jen and jobs you into the FBI, I think someone wouldn't lower themselves to, like, steal a cast member's $6 ring, because that would come out and it would just ruin everything for her. Like, it's not even worth it.
Well, this Beauty Lab lawsuit's going to ruin everything for her.
It probably will, but if she's right and she wins the case, then she'll get money. Maybe she's correct of why she's suing, for all we know.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't trust her as far as I can throw her.
On the show at the moment, like where it's airing, is who's her closest friend? Angie.
Mary?
No, Angie.
Oh, yeah, barely.
Right.
Barely. And yeah, as I said, no one's talking to her. No one wants to be in the same room as her. No one was on the same plane as her. It's really, she's DIW.
I mean, we say all this and look how much we're talking about her. She's the one that's carrying this season, to be fair.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, just that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying it's a good thing, but she's carrying the season where it's Monica, and she's the new person. Like, no one's really talking about Angie K.
No, thank God, because I feel weird about that whole thing about her husband. That's really sad.
That's so sad. That was once again involving the kids.
Nasty.
Like that was
Yes.
just yeah. And the husbands, people keep forgetting they're just there for their wives. They're not really in it. They choose
No.
to show themselves because it's part of their lives. But just keep the kids and the husbands out of it,
Yeah.
unless it's Real House of New Jersey, because they're pretty much all females anyway.
I also just think that whole like, oh, he's gay. Like, I just think it's
It's
not
2023.
nice.
And
It's
why
not
are they
nice.
saying as if it's a bad thing as well? That's how it's
I
there's so many
know.
there's
I
so many
know.
layers to that that's wrong, if you get what I mean.
And yeah, and like, cause he's a hairdresser.
I
Like,
know, that's what I mean.
really? Is that the only thing you got? Cause he's a
Yeah,
hairdresser.
it's a
Like,
hairdresser, yeah. I
people
know
are
it's
people are more deep than that.
I
Like, there's
know.
women minors out there who aren't
I
lesbian.
know. It's
Like,
so backwards. It's not even
yeah,
it's so backwards. That's the right word for it. Where it's
very
like
backward.
I'm not even going to give oxygen to this. That's how I feel
Yes.
when I heard that. I'm like, really? That's so like who spread that rumor? Was that Monica?
Monica brought it up on TV,
Right.
yes, which is
Right.
another thing I don't respect about
So do
her.
you think she knows exactly what she's doing?
Yes, are you kidding me? She knew when she tipped off fucking Jen Shah to the FBI that this was going to be a great pathway to
For her
get
to get on
her
the
on
show.
TV.
So she threw her friend under the bus to get on the show. Wow. I mean, for good reasons, though. I'm sorry. Jen Shaw's ripping off elderly people. Go to jail. Like,
Yeah,
I'm all
but you shouldn't. Yeah, but yeah, you shouldn't do it with the ulterior motive that you're going to get a payoff for it.
yeah. True. It should just be
Anyway,
for the actual victims. Wow. Real House of Salt Lake City still up there as one of my favorite, just because they're still not like, oh, I'm on a show and I'm a celebrity now. They're still, and because Salt Lake City is such a random,
place.
not in a bad way. It's just so like, just we're Australians. So by us watching it, like I just like when Whitney went and met Mary for like lunch or tea or something to sort out their bullshit. The snow outside was just so outrageous for
Oh,
me.
I
And that was 1 o'clock in the
know.
afternoon. I was like, fuck that, man. Like that's what you have to go through like on a normal day. Like, fuck that.
Yeah.
It made me feel so cold. And I was like, thank God I'm in Australia and it's just summer right now and it's just so hot where you've got to put the aircon and the fan on and the like it's just I just love that feeling.
I know. It's
You
so
know?
foreign. Yeah,
But it's a nice day today.
it is.
God, there's so much going on in the like recaps of the Bravos. Look at like this is a good episode. I hope you're
I
enjoying this,
know.
listeners, because we are like we're convincing ourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
What are we moving on? You're not up to date with Miami, are you?
No, I've really since BravoCon, I've fallen behind.
All right, so we won't talk about any of the other show, guys, and we'll wait till next week. We're releasing this episode today, by the way, but which is Saturday in America, Sunday in Australia. But next week we will have a midway one when Grace catches up, and it will be fun for her because she needs to catch up anyway. Got like a little blotch. And we will do another recap. But we're going to move on to now, guys. We know a lot of our listeners are from America, and it's like Bravo that you watch. But there's a series in Australia called Real Housewives of Sydney. It's the second season. You don't really need to watch this first season. Just they pretty much recast for the second season because the first season was just so the women were so mean. They're like, yeah, we can't really have a franchise like this. Let's keep two of them and then recast. And I think it's like Miami. There's like 7 or 8 Housewives of Sydney in it. And it's just started. It's only up to episode 6. And I made Grace, because Grace has been at BravoCon, catch up and watch it. She's up to date now. So thank you for that. But for listeners in America or Canada or wherever, please just find a way you will be able to watch Real Housewives of Sydney because it is so good, so funny, so many
good.
layers to it, like really good characters. And like I said, there's about 7 or 8 of them. So it never really runs out of things. It switches you like, oh, I forgot about this character. What's their lives and who are they friends with? And yeah, it's done really, really well. And me living in Sydney, I'm like, oh, where's that place? Are you as well?
Yes, me too. Every time
I'm
they
like-
go out, I'm trying to work out where they are.
And I know you love like eating out, like Grace and I go out a lot. So I
Yes.
know we'll go to those places then.
I know. I literally, when I watch it, I'm like, oh yeah, I've been there. Or like, oh no, but I know what that is. Oh,
Yes.
where is that? No, it's really good.
So I'll let Grace like lead the way as in just where you can start the recap from Housewives of Sydney. We're 6 episodes in. If you're a listener out there that hasn't watched it, maybe tune out now, just in case we don't want to wreck it for you if you're not up to date. But if you're up to date, then it's fine. And for people who haven't watched it, at least it'll give you a little segue of what the show's about, and like there's drama going on. Also, guys, we have a housewife on our show next week, so stay tuned.
Yes, our
Very
first
excited.
real housewife.
Our first housewife to be on the show. So subscribe who the mystery person will be. And yes, we can't wait to interview them. It's going to be very exciting. But let's do a recap because we haven't talked about Sydney. So this is like, let's talk about who our favorite is, where it's up to.
So I had an idea of who my favorite would be because I used to watch a reality series in Australia called WAGs, which is Wives and Girlfriends of like footballers. And Terry Biviano was on it, and I adored Terry. I love Terry, and unsurprisingly, I still love Terry. She is, I'm going to say, the voice of reason. I think she just makes so much sense. She's respectful. She's pleasant. She's nice. She's funny. I just think she's just so fabulous. I also agree with her that not everyone needs a driver's license, and she doesn't have a driver's license.
Doesn't have a driver's
and I don't have a driver's license, and I like
how she's like, it's really scary to like drive.
Yeah, it is. Well, she had that car accident.
Oh yeah,
which,
true.
Her up.
I like Terry as well, by the way. I'm with you on that one. Terry's my second favorite. So
yes, and I just think when she gets pushed, she says, "You're pushing me," and then she'll say it how it is. But I think she gives people a fair chance to explain themselves. I think she gives people the benefit of the doubt. I think she's normal, which I appreciate because there's not a lot of normal people in Sydney.
True. That's why I can relate to her. She's normal, where in real life I'd be like, oh, I'd get along with her. Like, she's normal of the way she speaks to people.
Yeah.
Her opinions, I would say as well. And even though she's got money, she's normal. She didn't let that money take over where she just thinks she's above everyone and all that fucking bullshit. She's just...
No.
You know what I mean by that?
Yes, you can kind of tell as well when you watch the show who's that real eastern suburbs kind of person.
Old money, and then I got money from like building a career or something. There's two different types of money. Someone who's from old money that just got born into it and they're just rich from like...
No, but I don't even think that, because I just think that even if you make the money, you can become that person.
Yeah, that's a choice. Like, that's worse.
I know, but that's what I'm saying.
I don't know anything different.
I think you can see who's still not that full on type of person. I really like Caroline.
Yeah, I love Caroline as well. She's my top three. Kate's my first, then Terry, then Caroline. Caroline's from Bondi, and she's just so funny. You think she's like a bit tacky and just like taking the piss, but it really is her, of how she looks and how she talks. All right, darling, I'm just so sexy.
I really liked when she said, "Oh, the only thing I don't like about Australia is tall poppy syndrome, and if you're a bit different." And I thought, yep, you're so right. And
she's so right.
Out.
Because if she was in like Miami or LA, she'd just be so normal there. Like, not anything. But in Sydney, they're like, oh, what is she wearing? She's like dressed like a slut. All these, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, she goes, I got my boobs out. I like my boobies, baby. Like, she likes her boobs. That's why she's got them done. They're fake for a reason. Who doesn't have fake boobs? Like, why are you picking on her? Like, who cares? Like, she owns who she is. So
I love Sally. I thought, when the cast was announced, like, how would Sally work in it? Only because I think she is so nice that
Sally used to be a news reporter for our overseas listeners in Australia. Like, when you watch the news, she was a news reporter. So now she's on Housewives of Sydney. So that's what Grace means by that.
Yeah, and she had breast cancer, and it was a very public sort of battle, and she's just a really nice person. And so I thought she'd be too nice for this show. But I watch her and I'm like, no, she's a lot like Chica in The Real Housewives of Melbourne, that you need that grounding person to bring it all back down.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I like watching her a lot. And then I also do like Dr. Kate, because I also like someone who's just like, fuck your eastern suburbs bullshit.
Yeah, she's so funny.
You know? And I'm like,
and I like her 333 bus reference. Did you see
same,
that?
Same. And I was like,
in her confessionals. And
anyone who can reference the 333 so easily, like, I love you. You are.
If you live in like Sydney, Australia, and like, you know, I lived in Bondi, and you just like, oh, she said something about finding a man or something, and she's like, well, fuck, I like how she swears. It's like, fuck it, and I'll just get the 333 just going past, and anyone knows you're always racing for that 333. It's a very fast bus in Sydney, so yes, she has funny references. I like her confessionals,
she does. And I also liked her blind date. That was very funny.
Oh yeah, she's really funny too. She's one of those Kate is one of those people that she can't really hide her facial expressions where she's like, and then he just sat there and I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. Like, I was just like, yeah. I think Dr. Kate like seems younger than the rest of them. I don't know. She's a veterinarian, which is really, really cool. And I think she's only one of not many of the housewives work in real life on that show. They don't actually have a job, but Dr. Kate's, I think there's only two that
some of them are mothers.
Yes. Yes. So they all work.
Stay-at-home mums. But yes. No, I know what you mean. She's like, yes.
Career-driven.
Married
single,
to her work.
She owns Bondi Vet. Yeah. Like, she's cool. But what do you think, Chrissy? She's a bit of a pot stirrer, which is good for the show, but...
Yeah, I think Chrissy's like Tamra or Lisa Rinna.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's what I think Chrissy's like.
But
do you know what I really am interested to know?
Yeah.
Is the whole fight between Chrissy and Kate about the lesbian comment.
Yeah, well, we should talk about that so the listeners who don't know the show know. Just give it a little recap. So
basically, the very short version of it was Chrissy walked into a dinner party, and I think it was Caroline who said, "I'm going to make out with you" or something like that.
Caroline's a really sexy one from Bondi with a big fake cheeks, real funny. She's flirty.
And she said something funny like, "Oh, I'm going to like make out with you" or something like that. And then Chrissy said jokingly, "Oh, well, I'm going to move over here now," and stood next to Dr. Kate. And Dr. Kate said, "How do you know I'm not going to kiss you?" As a joke. And then what?
Correct. You could tell from a viewer, being a viewer.
Did Chrissy say something like?
I don't know. She kind of like went away,
alluded to Dr. Kate being a lesbian somehow, which not even clear on how she did that, to be quite honest with you, because this fight just kept going and going and going. But what I'm really interested to knowing is, was what Chrissy did so bad to Dr. Kate in that situation just because of what happened? Or was it made worse because Chrissy is pretending not to know who Dr. Kate was?
Well, that was part of the show as well that viewers don't know. I think they've met before. Yes, because Chrissy took her dog to Bondi Vet ages ago, I guess. And before the show, got cast on this show. She's obviously met, like, hey, your dog's here. How are you? Like, we've all been to the doctors or brought your dog into the vet. Like, you don't really forget who they are, especially when it's a doctor. No. You really want your animal to be okay.
Yeah.
You know? And so when they got cast, Dr. Kate was like, oh, I kind of know Chrissy. She's brought her dog into my vet. I've looked after her dog and stuff. And then when the show started filming, Chrissy just pretended she didn't even know who she was, which I think we've all experienced that in life somehow.
It's shit.
And we all have. And it's shit. And you know they're purposely doing it. And that's why you get angry about it. Because you're like, what the fuck? Like, why wouldn't you be like, oh my God, Dr. Kate? Like, it's like Chrissy didn't want to give the acknowledgement that it's like, oh, we have met and like, you were my doctor saving my dog. Like, there's so many factors to it that's bad for Chrissy. I agree. Everyone's gone through it.
I think that's what where Dr. Kate was more upset about the lesbian comment.
Yeah.
I think that was like fuel to the fire.
Yeah.
Because when it was getting towards the end of this lesbian fight, I was sort of like, this is a little bit blown out of proportion, the whole thing. Like, I understand. How
Victoria said, well, she does have a cat and she lives by herself.
That was stupid.
Yeah,
that was so stupid. That was ridiculous.
Victoria, there's a lot of single people out there that have a cat that are working for their, like, it's just so, like, Victoria's annoying.
It was ridiculous. Look, zooming out from it all, I can see Dr. Kate's point that you don't know me. You shouldn't say stuff like that to people you don't know. Like, that kind of humor can go down badly. True. I totally agree. I also see Chrissy's point that she's like, I'm who I am, and this is my sense of humor, and I really didn't mean it in that way. So I get that as well. I just think that the fight got blown up to a bigger proportion because Dr. Kate is sitting on this thing of like, oh, Chrissy knows who I am and she's pretending not to. I think that that's like in the back of her mind,
Yeah. And I think Chrissy couldn't handle that they're all going away on the holiday thing, and Chrissy thought other people wouldn't go as well, but they ended up going to Kilcare.
Or do you think Chrissy wanted to be like Jill Zarin at Scary Island when Jill Zarin just showed up out of nowhere?
Probably.
Hi!
Did. Yeah, true. No, Jill Zarin didn't rock up to Scary Island unannounced. She rocked up to the Ramonas.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I'm overtaking you with Housewives.
Wherever it is. Where they always go.
Bobby, they were so rude to me, Bobby. They were so rude. Yeah. I need to go. I mean, it was rude, but I mean, she shouldn't have gone. It was weird.
But anyway, I thought when Chrissy walked in, I was like, oh my God, this is Jill Zarin 2.0.
Chrissy's funny because I feel like I've met her before. In real life. I'm not like, I don't know if I have, or someone that's very similar to her.
Yeah, right.
I've met similar to people to her.
I've
her whole
met
mannerism.
Similar people to her.
Yeah, her whole mannerisms and her like, Yeah.
Anyway,
maybe she's projecting onto Dr. Kate.
She might be, or maybe it's just a bad joke that's gone down really badly.
Gone down too far. Yeah, come on, man. Yeah. It's 2023. Get over that shit. It shouldn't even be made into a joke. It's not even funny.
Yeah, no, I know.
But good on for like Dr. Kate for sticking up for herself, because a lot of them are cliquey there and friends, and Kate doesn't have that many friends, and she doesn't know a lot of them. So I do like that she's become good friends with Terry and Sally. I can see, because they were both at the hotel, like in her room and stuff, which who were part of our favorites. So it's like, yeah.
I think you got the sort of more normal ones, and then you got the like more not normal ones.
The not normal ones, yes. Who's your least favorite?
Probably Victoria, because I
think she's a lot of other people's as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't vibe with that kind of.
That world.
No, I don't.
Yeah. And do you know what's funny? They film this show and they think that they that will come off like they're this prestige Calvin Klein model on their horse, and they're from old money and they live in this mansion and they're doing all these things. But it's like, you can watch someone of fantasizing what it's like to be rich and fantasize in a good way, but the way that it's coming off, the way she's doing it, is it's like, I'm up here and I'm better than you and you're down here type of thing. She's doing it the wrong way. I don't know her personally, so I can't make a judgment, but she's the least favorite for me as well. And I think she'd probably be realizing that now. Just, and we're probably going to go into the tea of, which is one of the biggest things on Housewives of Sydney right now, saying you should watch it, with the whole fur thing where she wore it. Yeah, we can probably go into that. But is there anything else you want to say before we go into that episode? Like, we can tell the viewers how they'll go into
I just think with Victoria, I suppose, when we're talking about like just that type of person, I didn't like it in the first episode when the producer asked her and said, how much is your house worth or whatever? And she was like, no, we won't talk about that. We won't talk about that.
Which they shouldn't. I don't think it's anyone's business.
No, but hang on. Then she says on camera, like, I'm not going to say that the house next door is up for sale for 35 million. Like, we can't put that out there. And I'm just
I must have missed that. Is that what she said?
Yeah.
Oh, so she should have said how much her house cost.
First 3 minutes of episode 1.
Oh,
and I was just like, okay, you seem like the way the show is presenting you is one of those people who's super, super rich and wants to be low key about it, but really, 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 really can't because she really wants to get it out there how rich she is, but she wants to pretend that she's not telling people. And I'm just like, oh, no, you just need to,
I always think the ones that are rich aren't really that rich if they're telling people they're that rich. Or do you think she's using in a power thing like, I'm the richest housewife?
I think in Sydney, there are people who are super rich who like are gross about it.
Yeah. I missed that. I didn't realize she said that.
It's
even worse. Yeah. She should have just owned up and said how much it was when they asked the question then.
Yeah, I know.
She could have come off naive like, oh, but I don't want that to be
Or
okay.
you could say, yeah, exactly. Or you could just say, oh, look, like I live on Sydney Harbour. The houses are really expensive here. Like it might be 30 million or something like that. But like how ridiculous is that? This is not the real world. Easy. Yeah. Normal.
Is it even her house or is it her mum's house?
I don't know.
Oh.
Anyway.
Yeah. She's my least favorite too, but who knows? It can change, but we'll see.
It can change. Things can change.
Things can change. That's what's good about housewives. You think you like someone and then you don't, type of thing. But yeah, should we go into the episode about the which is probably the biggest thing happening on Real Housewives of Sydney right now, with how they go to Killcare and Kate takes them to all the girls to a, what's the word?
It's the reptile park. So basically the reptile park is like a conservation center.
That's what I'm looking for. Yeah.
For animals.
Yes.
Yes.
Do you want to start it off?
Oh, sure. Well, if those at home don't know, Victoria has a clothing label and as a part of this brand at the time of the show was selling fur coats, and she was saying that she's a fur wearer, and she was making her argument for wearing fur, and her and Dr. Kate get into it because Dr. Kate's obviously very against any form of...
She's a veterinarian.
Yes, so she was making her point that, animal cruelty, how these animals are killed, which I personally agree with. And Victoria was saying, on the other hand, which I do somewhat see her point, it's easy to say you're anti-fur, but then you're all wearing leather pants and ostrich feathers and all this kind of stuff. So that was her point about the fur, right?
And to add into that as well, I was listening. Okay, like that's true, but I didn't realize that when they kill for fur coats, they're actually what's the word I'm looking for? Like they're
it's quite like violent.
Yes, it's very, very violent. Like they're not just putting them down and then like with leather and stuff, it's not violent. I don't know how they kill the cows and stuff, but it's not like in a traumatic way. I think it's very traumatic to get the fur.
So I think and I learned that as well, that they were electrocuted so that
that's it.
The fur wasn't getting ruined with the blood or anything like that, or some of them were skinned alive, and the death of them's like quite horrific. Anyway, so I just want to say also I'm a fur person, but anyway, and then the next day, they're going to this conservation center. Dr. Kate says, I want to show you my world, blah, blah, blah. And in the car, Victoria gets in the car, sits down next to Dr. Kate, and Victoria's wearing a vest, like a padded vest, which has a fur collar on it. And Dr. Kate says...
It looks like a dead fox, by the way.
Yeah. Dr. Kate says, is that real fur? And Victoria says, yes. It's
and you can tell Dr. Kate asking surely it's not. And she's kind of...
Yeah.
Kind of asking in the car. And Terry's in the car as well, by the way. Mm-hmm. So I'm just adding in, and she just asked, and she's like, yes, it is real. And I think when you're on a cast of a show, when you're a veterinarian and saving animals is your life, there's a bit of a difference. Using your career in your life, you're saving animals and bringing them back to life and things like that. And then you're taking people who you're friends with now on a show to what's a word? Conservation, where area. They save. It teaches you how to save animals and what to do, and they endangered animals. The people who work there, and your friends wearing a dead animal around their neck, which isn't. You wouldn't even wear that even if it was really cold to a zoo or something like that. It's just not the attire. It's not even the right attire. Is that the word? It's not the attire at all. So it's really thrown in your face. Why would you be wearing a dead animal around your neck, A, in front of me, which is very offensive, but B, you know what Kate was saying, like, me, I can handle this and go off at you, but for these other people that are working there, like, this is going to make him feel like shit. This is so embarrassing on so many levels, and you're being very disrespectful now. That's how Kate felt, and she kind of said it just straight up, and she was like, look, could you please take it off? And then how did Victoria react? Which I think is just kind of makes Victoria not a good favor of it's her reaction on things. You could be like, oh my God, I forgot. I'm so sorry. I did not meant to be disrespectful. I wasn't even thinking. This is my business. I like this jacket. Let me take it off type of thing. Her reaction was?
She was very defensive, and she was like, well, what do you want me to do about it? I've got dressed. What do you want me to do?
So
what do you
rude,
want me
like
to do?
Child.
And Terry just said, like, look, it's kind of like your attitude as well. Like, and she was like, fine, I'll take the collar off. I'll take the collar off. And Terry basically just said, like, look, it's your reaction. We're just saying it's kind of disrespectful. And what did Terry say that made perfect sense? She said it's like wearing white to a wedding. It's disrespectful
like it was
to the bride.
Yeah,
it was do it.
Terry said it in a nice way. Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. And she just reacted like a spoiled little child.
Yeah, it was just very full on. And she was like, I'm being attacked, which I think in the beginning it was more just like
it was a conversation.
It was more like this is unbelievable that you're in the car wearing fur. Like do you
She wasn't getting attacked.
Yeah. And it was just it was a lot, wasn't it?
It was a lot, and then it turns into more when you guys watch it because Terry and Victoria obviously know each other like in real life before the show and are friends. And Victoria's like, I can't believe you chose Dr. Kate over me, someone who you've just known from the show, and I've been friends with you for how many years? And Terry's like, but I don't agree with you. Like, you've got to understand, like, you wore dead fur to this reptile saving the animals thing. Do you not understand how wrong that is? And it's like,
I also just think, like, if you're friends with someone, it doesn't mean you agree with them 24/7 or you back them up all the time just because they're your friend. Like,
that's why I like Terry now, because it was like she chose right
and
over.
She didn't do it in a way that was like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, blah, 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 blah. She was just saying, like, look, your attitude's kind of off. This is pretty disrespectful. Like, do you get it?
And then Victoria's like, that you wear these leather pants. She goes, but I own that. I said that I did. I said, that's, it was just, look, with Victoria, I'll see more that happens, but it was more her reaction. It's all about her reaction. Like the way she seems like someone who's just been told like, yes, 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 her whole life and never had anyone stand up to her. And Dr. Kate's like, this is my life. And then, I don't know, it was like she couldn't handle that. Everyone agreed with Dr. Kate and Victoria just couldn't handle that. And she left. I
also think, and this isn't in Victoria's defense, this is more just generally when you know that this is all happening and her dad's in hospital at the same time, that potentially could have played into it as well. Like, I'm not like going to disregard that fact and say that wouldn't affect you mentally in any way, because I'm sure it would. And I'm sure if the season goes on and she keeps acting that way, well, then it's not really an excuse. The worst part of that episode, I think, apart from animal cruelty, of course, is how much they were carrying on about having one day eating vegetarian. It was ridiculous. It was absolutely unbelievable. Grow up. Eat some vegetables. It's 24 hours.
Who was going on about that? Like Victoria and Chrissy and
Victoria, Chrissy. And I think someone else was saying something about eating vegetarian. I'm just like,
it was very rude, hey. It was rude. And it looked amazing, the food. Like, this is a chef cooking it. It's not as if, like, you're sitting there eating an onion, like, North.
Exactly. Like, give me a break. Are you for real?
I know. That's what I'm saying. I felt really sorry for Kate because she's the new one going in, doesn't have her clique. She's put on this nice holiday and everyone's wearing fur, attacking her, trying to wear it there. Going, why are we eating vegetables? Like, where's the animals? Where we're getting forced to do this. I'm like, this is so disrespectful to someone. Like, it's like someone having a religion. I would respect someone's religion needs. Like, you're Jewish, don't eat pork and things. It's like, you know what I'm like? It's the same thing. in a different way.
But also, if you invited me on holidays and you said, yeah, it's my birthday trip and we're going camping and I hate camping, if I agree to go to your birthday and I know it's camping, I'm not going to go to your birthday and complain the whole time. I could have said to you, oh, Sonny, do you know what? I'm going to sit this weekend out, but I'd love to have dinner with you, take you out for dinner for your birthday instead. I'm not going to show up somewhere and just complain about it. I know what I was going into. Grow up.
We've forgotten about someone in the Housewives of Sydney who is probably my least favorite, underneath Victoria.
Nicole?
Yeah.
I didn't forget about her. I just don't have much to say.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. I take the ladies to the markets and buy the spices. Someone wrote on our TikTok about that and like, oh, whatever. Yeah. She's going to Costco to get them. They're all bullshitting that for the show. You know, when they went and got the herbs and stuff.
So more will be revealed about her, I'm sure.
So leading into that, we do have some tea about the Real Housewives of Sydney. Basically, as we're explaining. Oh, well, we've left something out. So are you up to date with RHOS where what did you think about Victoria suddenly coming out with the cake coat?
I know.
That's what I'm saying. This show's so good. Like,
it's
so basically, help me out here if I leave anything else. So after all this happened, I think Victoria realized that, like, oh shit, no one's agreeing with me about the third thing. We know it's your business. It's not about that. It's about your reaction and how you went on about it. But since then, Kate, she had a party at her house, Victoria, and said she's only going to do cashmere and not do real fur for selling for her business and only do faux fur. Is that correct? On the latest episode?
That's correct, yes.
Yes. So for anyone out there, she's just like realized. But then when she revealed her new fashion, she released a coat called Kate Coat after Dr. Adams, the veterinarian. And all the ladies are like, it seems very condescending and thrown in your face and not for a good. Then said some of the proceed.
Kate wasn't at the party.
Yeah, Kate wasn't at the
nor
party.
was she asked or given the heads up that this coat
is going to be named after her.
Was happening, yeah. Exactly.
And Victoria said, oh, she should appreciate it. Some of the proceeds are going to go to
a charity of her choice.
A charity of her choice. And like, do you think she's trying to do something nice, or do you think it is in a condescending way, or she's trying to do it and she just can't win and she doesn't realize how even rude that is of what she's trying to do? I'm still trying to work it out. Very interesting episode.
I think she wants to do something nice, but she wouldn't want to do it in private. She wants to make it public so people know about it.
Yep. Okay. Kind of like when celebrities do charity. The celebrities who do charity and it's do it, and the celebrities who do charity where the media takes photos of it because they want the world to know. And it's just like, I would rather just do it where the world doesn't know. And if someone speaks about it where Grace is like, actually, Brad Pitt donates to Sunny and I's charity all the time. You know? We just, I'm telling you, he didn't need to tell you or tell the paparazzi. We're telling you. That's when it's better. Okay, so we have some tea for anyone that watches Real Housewives of Sydney. One of our listeners wrote into our show. So this is allegedly, this is not facts, this is allegedly. Someone has sent us some receipts about the whole thing going on with the faux fur and everything that's going on with the episode. So I just wanted to read this, guys, to you. In the episode, Victoria says she's going to do cashmere, as we know in the latest episode, and she's quitting selling the fur, and which is awesome, which is like, you know, congratulations. She's trying to do something good for the world. She works in fashion, and it's also good for Kate and all the other people out there that are against, you know, slaughtering animals for fashion, really.
Yeah.
But we did get some tea from a follower. And they are telling us that a fur coat from her a fur coat from her wardrobe was on her Instagram that is real fur. The same coat is also on the website, but marked as faux fur. Now, do we think that this could be just a mix-up and Victoria didn't know it was on both and it was the same coat, or maybe produce the same coat in both real fur and faux fur? We want to know if anyone knows the truth to this.
So she's like reselling one of her coats and it's on like one of those resell my wardrobe things. And it says it's real fur on that.
Okay.
But then it appears to be the same coat on the website, which says it's faux fur..
Right. I think.
I think that's what that means.
I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means. I think that's what that means Right, got you.
But who's to say that you don't make the same exact looking coat, one in real fur, one in faux, I guess. Like, who knows? Until you get your hands on the coat, you don't really know, do you?
Correct. Correct. So that was a tea that someone wrote up. Was it a mix-up? Is it a mix-up? What's going on? If anyone knows, feel free to comment. But a lot going on about that in Real Housewives of Sydney. It's a lot of drama, but like I think if anyone out there watches Housewives or like all the American ones and stuff, it's really good to see something outside of America because it's just different. Like all the American ones, yes, they're in different cities, but they kind of are a little bit the same. You'll know what I mean. But when you watch a Sydney one, it's like completely different. Like you think the drama would be the same, but it's just completely different drama.
No, it's
also the first season for them. It is season 2 Real Housewives of Sydney, but is in first season for the new cast.
Yes.
And when you've got that, they're not celebrities. They're real women. They live in Sydney. Like I said, they're vets. They're old money, new money. They're married to footballers. Watch it because it really is interesting.
And let us know how you feel.
Yes.
And this has been a massive episode. So if you've made it to the end, thank you.
Yes.
We applaud
Which we think you have, because a lot of listeners who listen to Bravo shows, they want to get as much tea as possible. And they also want to hear our Grace and I's perspective being Australian on what we think of Bravo shows, apparently.
Yeah.
Yes.
So thank you for listening, and we'll be back next week with a recap again.
Yes, we will. And
let us know your thoughts.
Yes, let us know your thoughts. Give us a like, subscribe, watch us on YouTube, whatever way you listen or watch us. And remember, guys, Grace and I will have someone on our show next Sunday from The Real Housewives. Who will it be? We're doing a whole interview. We're very excited. It's our first housewife on the show. And we will get the tea straight to you.
We will. And we'll see you then.
We'll see you then. Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Bravo special.